after my first pregnancy, when I find out I had a prolapse, I only had one goal in my mind. I'm gonna have to fix this. And I know most women's goal is to lose weight postpartum, but my primary goal then was just to fix my prolapse and to really just heal myself and to get rid of all these uncomfortable symptoms that they pair with the prolapse, the dragging down feeling in the vagina, the heaviness in the vagina, feel like something is coming out of there that is almost kind of visible at the entrance of the vagina as well. So to just like really heal and get back to normal how it was before and feel comfortable in my body again. Because I was not feeling comfortable then. So what I did, I created a plan for myself. I stick to it because it was just so important for me to do this for myself, to get rid of this uncomfortable everyday life and to feel a comfortable, happy life again. Because I could not be happy that way when I feel like something is dropping out of there. Every time I need to get up and take a walk longer than 20 minutes, I couldn't be on my feet or every kind of movement was uncomfortable. So I knew I can't live like this. And if you feel also uncomfortable in your body and you feel like you really need to lose that weight, whatever you have, or change your body composition postpartum because you want to feel happy in your body, happy when you look in the mirror, then this is for you. If you're new here, I recommend you to check out video 1, video 2, video 3, because now we are on the video 4 in this postpartum weight loss series, and now we are going to dig into deeper how we can actually create a plan that fits our life. In the previous videos, we have talked all about the energy balance and how we need to shift our mindset to understand our current reality, our current life, and how we can fit a plan into it. What are our current circumstances and how we should not adopt anything from others, especially if their life is completely different. Because I'm going to also show you in a workbook how I'm actually working, how I'm actually doing this, and how I'm creating this plan. So I recommend you also to get a spreadsheet or get a notebook and just really write it down because this is very important. I'm going to try to be very prompt with this because I also don't want you to overcomplicate stuff. This shouldn't be really complicated. It's the base of fitness and the base of weight loss, anything that we want to achieve in fitness should come together with the repeated movements or repeated tasks in our everyday life of the basics repetitively. So you have to repeat the basics each and every day in order to see results and be successful. This shouldn't be really complicated. You shouldn't think that now you have to do something that is out of God's word, because not. The basics, the simple things are the ones that are going to bring you the success over time if they are repeated enough in the everyday life on a consistent basis. You might find it even really boring, but the boring shit is that's gonna bring you the success and the results. If you're trying all the time new stuff, new things, and not sticking to the basics repetitively, consistently, and always switching up and always trying a new thing. So you just started a plan, and then you think after 1 week it didn't work, then you start another plan. You also do that for a week. So there is no consistency in it. The plan did not even fall through from the beginning to the end, and you started already doing something else. So how you even expect seeing results and seeing success if you did not fall through with it? You have to do it from the beginning to the end. So if you plan yourself that you're going to stick to something for 3 months, and you're going to do the same exercise maybe for 3 months or the same training plan, if you stop it after 2 weeks because you don't see results, obviously you're not seeing results. You didn't even complete the 3 months that it was made for. The plan was created for 3 months. You would only see results or even be able to measure it once you fall through until the 3 months, the end. So if you're constantly trying new stuff and you never finish in anything that you have started, and you always jump in on one to another without having a plan, you're not going to succeed. The success lies in the basics repetitively done, consistently, in a certain period of time, the time frame that you set to it. So this is also basically a SMART goal that you have set for yourself. So here we are. What I want you to do, get a spreadsheet on your computer or whatever is more suitable for you. Or get a note plan if you really like writing things down. I actually really a big fan of writing things down, but I want you to see what I'm doing. Otherwise, I would really write it in a notebook. So you just see, this is a very simple basic plan that you can create for yourself And after you can adjust it into your agenda. So what we have discussed, the TDEE, the total daily energy expenditure. So if you want to lose weight, how you lose weight? We have BMR, we have thermic effect of food, which is the nutrition. So we are going to now associate thermic effect of food is the digestion, how we burn calories during the day. We burn through digestion as well. And we discuss protein is the most important or consumes the most energy from our body. We're going to look at the EAT, which is exercise, activity, thermogenesis. So we are going to look at the training as well, and the NEAT, non-exercise activities, which can lie in your daily habits. As we discussed, because these 4 components are the part of the TDEE, and we want to influence all 4 components in the TDEE. The BMR, they said, is kind of genetically predetermined because it's your metabolism, but applying the right things, the right trainings, you can influence this also over time. Maybe not by tomorrow or next week or next month, but in maybe 6 months or 9 months, if you have already built enough muscle, this number will be higher than it was before. This is thermic effect of food. It's nutrition. So there are 3 habits that we can now plan and create for ourselves into our life. Nutritional habits, training, and NEAT activities, non-exercise activities, so habits around that. The nutrition, you actually have to understand what you are eating. So the macronutrients that we have, protein, carbs, and fats, vegetables, and fruits for each meal. So to make sure that you eat protein, carbs, vegetables, or fruits at each meal. And you have to plan how many times you are going to eat, what you're going to eat, how much of those things, how much. This you can calculate in a calculator and find out what are your macros that are recommended for you for your goal. So you can get a tracking app and actually calculate how much fats, carbs, vegetables you should be eating, how many times a day. So you will know how much is the actually calorie input that you should be having in a day, how much you should be eating. That will help weight loss journey. So in the nutrition part, it all comes down to what you're going to eat, how many times a day you're going to eat. You should be scheduling your meals and exactly know when you're going to eat and what you're going to eat each time to make it simpler and easier for yourself. So you're not going to have a decision fatigue and you're not going to reach out for those less nutritious snacks or foods because you are not prepared. Because what happens, we are reaching out to those foods. If we are not prepared what we're going to eat for dinner, we're going to go and buy a takeout or call McDonald's or whatever, and we're going to eat that thing instead of being prepared, knowing what we're going to eat. And this is simple, valid for breakfast, lunch, dinner. These are the main meals. I'm usually lately eating 3 times a day because it's also because of my limitation with the Invisalign, sometimes more, sometimes maybe 4 times. If I'm able to make that effort, because this is limiting me so much. So I'm trying to make sure that for the 3 meals in a day, I'm eating enough protein and carbs and vegetables, fiber, fruits. That is satisfying me until the next meal, because I really hate taking in and out my Invisalign all the time, cleaning my teeth, whatever comes with it, because it takes time and effort. But that's just me. Sometimes I add an extra snack, usually then in the afternoon, and that would be also something very simple like yogurt with an apple or some other fruits and a little bit of honey maybe or maple syrup on it. You need to plan your nutrition, meaning when you're gonna eat, what you're gonna eat, how often, if you're gonna track, when you're gonna do your groceries, make groceries. So all these things you need to plan regarding your meals and what you're gonna eat. First, the best is to think of 2 or 3 different foods or meals. For breakfast, 2, 3 different breakfast. For lunch, 2, 3 different lunch. And for dinner, 2, 3 different lunch to start with, and make these first and then maybe redo them the next week. So think of 2, 3 of your favorite type of lunches, breakfast and dinners, and just switch these off in the beginning. For example, I almost eat all the time the same for breakfast. I usually, Sunday, I prepare overnight oat for myself and also for my husband, and I eat that for 2, 3 days. And maybe by Wednesday, I'm tired of overnight oat, and I'm gonna make some porridge oat. And then some days, maybe I just have a protein shake because I don't have much time, but I add fruits in it, milk, and 2, 3 type of foods as well. And that's also enough for me many times until lunch. It's not the most ideal. And sometimes maybe I have eggs. So I have a couple of breakfasts in my mind, and I always just switch them over time. I'm eating this maybe, or sometimes I eat oat for the whole week, and only in the weekend maybe I'm having something else like a protein pancakes or something. But I always have like a 2-3 breakfast that are really easy to make, and I'm switching them. The same goes for lunch. I'm working from home, so I have to be very fast and quick to prepare my lunches, and also the dinner. The same way goes for dinner. So those one require a little bit more of planning for me, and there will be video about it as well in the future when we go deeply into planning, meal planning, groceries. But in this one, just to highlight your basic plan of what you're gonna do and how you're gonna do it. This is what this spreadsheet is for. So just think of 2-3 different type of meals for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and try to rotate these on a regular basis. When you're sick of it, switch to the other. Just make it very simple and easy for yourself. The simplest your meal is, the easiest to track. Because when you have a bunch of ingredients, that will be like a huge list that you have to track in the app as well, if you decide to track. So and then it's the easiest for you as well to understand what you're eating and how much calories you are eating. If you are also not tracking, it's the easiest way to calculate, because you know you have plain, simple ingredients. It's much easier to find out how much these come together into calories. And then we have the exercise activity, which is, we discussed, it can be 5 to 10% maybe of your daily calories, but if it is not there, you're not even burning those calories. So if your goal is weight loss, you need to have training activity in your plan. So you have to think of what kind of training you're gonna do, how many times a week. Obviously, strength training is highly beneficial, but if you're not that big of a fan of a strength training, which you should be, because that should be the primary for everyone to implement strength training at least 3 times a week. So that's what I'm recommending to you as well, to at least add 3 times strength training into your routine with heavy weights. So weights, when the last set, when you are coming to 8 or 9 or 10, it feels like almost impossible that you could not do one more rep. So I also recommend 3 times a day strength training, and maybe once try to add something that you like. Like if you love running, then add the running as well a couple of times a week, or after your strength training sessions, or maybe on the other days when you're not strength training, add 1 or 2 sessions of running as well. If you love pilates, add extra pilates, because that will also keep you going. So have also the activities that you love and activities that actually are useful. And like this, you will be able to maintain your routine for the long term. So 1-2 times optional exercise like Pilates or your choice of movement. And in the end, we come to the NEAT and non-exercise activities, and these come down to your daily habits. Because as I mentioned, so you have to also plan sometimes your daily habits. For example, the steps. I always plan myself that I want to do 10K steps every day, but at least 8. So if I cannot, at least I have to be at 8K steps. Because if I'm 8K steps, I know I have been on my feet a lot during the day. And that's just it. The steps are your activity level during the day. It indicates you of how active you've been during the day. If all you've done the whole day, that you woke up, had breakfast, you sit in your car, you take your children to school, then you sit in your car as well, you drive to your work, then you sit in the office for 8 to 10 hours, then you sit back in your car, you pick up your children, and you come home and you sit, watch Netflix, and you've done less than 3,000 steps the whole day, then you know why you are not losing weight, and that your life is really sedentary, and you have to upper those steps. How you can upper those steps? Get up and move every hour at least if you are working, but better every half an hour. Move around 5-6 minutes constantly. Add also exercise. Try to change to public transport or walking or biking instead of just sitting in a car, if it is possible for you. But if you sit in a car a lot, if you are working in office, try to get up a lot and just walk around the office as well, or get outside and walk around your office building several times a day. That is always the way to implement more movements into your life. If you are home, if you are working from home, or you are a stay-at-home mom, it's also a way to do that. I'm working from the same time doing household, the same time I'm doing exercises, cooking, everything while I'm also working. So I just take breaks and do other things in my working days. And when I'm doing those other things, I'm getting up and I'm moving around in my house. And that also counts, because I'm not sitting down, I'm moving around. Anything else that you do is an activity, and it counts towards steps, because you are not sitting. For me, is like the worst thing that can happen to me. And after, I should go outside and take my children to the playground and also just continue sitting while I've been sitting for like 8 hours at work as well, So, and then after just sit down to watch Netflix in the evening and just sit. I hate it. Me personally, I hate it. I like to be active. So I always plan my life around activities. If I have to go with my children, we are going swimming, fine. Let's bike there. Let's take transport there, because I know until I'm transporting and then I have to implement some walking after getting off the train or the tram. It's also like a kilometer walking after that. So then we choose that path. Or I'm taking Sunday walks with the kids. Or I'm taking a walk with the kids before we go to the playground. I'm walking to their school. I'm walking when I'm picking them up, when I'm carrying them. I always walk. I walk to do groceries. I bike instead of sitting in a car. So I'm always adding more and more activities because my personal choice is that I do not want to be sedentary. So these habits, small, tiny habits that you can implement in your life, like if you work from home, you can take walks outside and you can schedule them. The best is if you want to do extra walks, for example, to schedule them into your work agenda. Because if you never schedule it and you're not saying, and you're really doing it that I'm going to get up to clear my head, to take a walk for 15, 20 minutes, you're never going to do it. Then you're just going to wait, you continue and getting lost in your work and you're never going to do it. It also counts if you cannot do 60-minute workout at once or 60-minute walk at once, to divide that workout, that walking session into chunkable sized pieces. So like then you do 6 times 10 minutes. 10 minutes is more doable, right? Sounds much more doable. So then chunk it down into actionable steps and then just do 6 times 10 minutes walk. Maybe first in the morning, then after the first hour or the first 2 hours after the first meeting. In lunch break, do maybe 20 instead of 10. But several times a day, those 10 minutes also add up. And if you also get up to do laundry, to do other housework, to clean, the activity level will add up much faster and it will benefit you much better than just sitting all day. So I hope this video been helpful to you today and you got some ideas of how you can implement actually these things into your daily life, into your agenda. Now that you have a plan, I also need to understand more things about nutrition, and we are going to deep dive into it in the next video when we are going to talk about the relationship with the food and why many women stay stuck in the cycle because they have a certain relationship that does not benefit them. So get your ideas ready and see you in the next video.